streets of Orange County, California. And this is a Friday evening, the 19th of February, 2021. I want to welcome you all to the broadcast. And right off the bat, folks, you know, I see the question come up all the time. Why are you wearing the goggles at night, folks? Well, if you look at these headlights, you'll understand why. This is Joe Imbriano, the Fullerton Informer, P.O. Box 4121, Fullerton, California, 92834. On the web at thefullertoninformer.com, WiFiDangers.com, VaxDangers.com, CellTowerDangers.com, and of course NASAFraud.com, NASA666.com. And what a joke that is, right? You know, they're showing some video game screen recording footage of some, Star Wars model supposedly is landing on Mars. Boy, I sure hope it doesn't bring back the alien virus, right? Because that's what I'm worried about. That's the next angle they're going to pull on us. I'm going to keep talking about Texas, folks, because you don't mess with Texas, all right? You know, if there's one state in this country that ever had a chance, and that still does have a chance of making its last stand, it's the state of Texas, the Republic of Texas, right? And as much as they try to, wash it over with a bunch of plants from California, I'm not knocking all of you people that move out there, but when you take your proclivities with you to a place that was built by rugged individuals, and individualism and liberty and freedom, and you take your ideologies over there to subvert the place, then you end up in this mess, right? Folks, Texas is being taken down, all right? Texas has its own electrical grid. Texas is basically an electricity island, right? And if you listen to the people that are supposedly in charge of Texas, the people that are in charge of the electrical grid, the guy that's supposedly running the system, it's laughable, but at the same time, the Ted Cruz thing, I would not be surprised if the whole Ted Cruz thing was a setup, so it could be a diversion to keep people's eye off the real ball here, folks. And that is, the weather warfare, the climate change stuff that they're going to use this for, and of course the takedown, right? It's all the news is all about Ted Cruz. Now, Ted Cruz, we already know that Ted Cruz does not represent the interests of the American people. Ted Cruz is not a conservative. He's a warmonger who serves the deep state that is located deep in the heart of the Mediterranean. He plays ball for that cabal, folks. All right? He's got CIA connections in his family. And, of course, he goes to Mexico when the place goes dark and everybody's freezing. Now there's no food in the stores. And the headlines are now starting to surface about how more than half the state's under a boil water order. You know how many people live in Texas? You know how many millions of people don't have running water right now? You know what a mess that is? You know how long it's going to take before they have running water? Look, ladies and gentlemen, it takes quite a bit of lulling a cranky, agitated child into complacency so it'll finally go to sleep and let you and your wife get some action in, right? Folks, I'm telling you, that's what they've done to us. That's what they've done to us, folks. They've lulled us into complacency so we can go to sleep so they can take their actions on us. And that's exactly what's gone on. They got everybody over there in houses. Most of them don't have fireplaces now. And, most of the homes in Texas are heated by electricity. They don't have any gas. They don't have, wood-burning stuff in there. And folks, what we've got to face here is how they've lured everybody into the ultimate mousetrap. And they've lured them into these little, cookie cutter tract homes, these high density stack and pack housing units with push button electrical systems. You know, turn on the heat, turn on the air conditioner, turn on the stove, have my Hot Pockets fly out of the microwave and land on the tray in front of the idiot box as I suck my thumb and watch a cartoon. And to all my critics out there, I feel sorry for you, right? Because I'm telling the truth, folks. Texas is an example of what they plan on doing to the rest of the United States, okay? And the United States is going to be taken down in different phases. But like I said in an earlier video today, they're not going to get us all, and especially if you prepare to basically exist and thrive in Stone Age conditions, which is not that hard to do, okay? It is not that hard to realize that what we face is a paper tiger in a lot of senses, folks. You know, I saw a video of a guy who broke up his crib, his baby's crib, threw it in the fireplace. You know what? That's a good move. Number one, the guy was smart enough to buy a house or rent a house that has a fireplace in it. And number two, he was smart enough to realize he can always go out and get himself another crib. All right? And it goes to show just how important it is for us to have the ability to burn wood so we don't freeze to death and we don't starve to death. The water is going to be the big problem in Texas, folks. When you take a society back to the Stone Age and take away its running water in one fell swoop, in one day, you've accomplished the desire of the ages of these satanic tyrants, okay? They've got people on their knees right now. No one is prepared for this over there. By and large, the vast majority of people in Texas are not prepared for this. Of course, there's plenty of preppers there. There's plenty of good old boys there. There's plenty of people there that know what the Lone Star State is all about and what it's all about to be an American. It's all about not having any dependence on the government and taking care of you and yours and your community, right? And I'm right there with you. I'm one of those people, okay? But by and large, most people, based on what they've been tricked into doing or by their economic circumstances, do not have the resources to endure this in a way that is going. This is going to be a long-term there, okay? You can't have power going on and off, because if you get into the grocery store, when you finally get in, you know, there's with this ridiculous case-demic, you know, stuff that's going on. You can only have limited amounts of people in a store, so the majority of people got to wait outside in the freezing cold. And then when they finally get in the store and they grab what little is left in there and they get in their shopping cart, and then the power goes out again, guess what? They have to leave the store. That's what Walmart's doing in Texas. Now, there's another grocery chain out there that let the people leave with the groceries and not pay for them. But Walmart told everybody to leave and to leave their groceries in the store. See, that's Walmart, folks. See, if Walmart was a legitimate corporation in the United States of America that cared about the American people, there would be Walmart trucks in the tract home neighborhoods distributing bottled water and distributing food. But instead, because their damn cash register didn't work, they sent everybody home empty-handed after they waited in line outside. Okay? The point is, folks, is it's where we are. They got us dependent on these big box retailers. They got us living in these small confined quarters where we can't grow things, we can't raise animals, we can't grow lumber and harvest timber and run these contraptions that humanity has survived with for thousands of years, called fireplaces and wood-burning stoves, right? Oh, we can't have natural gas. Oh, we've got to go all electric. Oh, we've got to go be environmentally conscious. Oh, we've got to go renewables. Oh, we've got to go wind. Oh, we got to go solar. Folks, if you want to put solar on your house, go ahead. It don't work too good when it's covered with snow. It don't work too good when it's all cloudy outside. And it sure as heck don't work too good when everything's frozen solid, and it wouldn't matter anyway, because the roof is nothing more than an ice skating rink for the mockingbirds. So what difference does it make if you go environmentally friendly if you're freezing to death and there's nothing to eat? And your pipes are bursting and the home's getting flooded with ice cold water. And nobody's answering the phone at the insurance company. Nobody's answering the phone at the police department. Nobody's answering the phone because the phone ain't working. And so you're there by yourself, right? How'd this happen, folks? Well, it's a setup, okay? I believe this is what you call weather warfare. Like I said in the previous videos, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I showed the scalar waves, a massive electromagnetic attack on the atmosphere over California. And you can see they create this dome of high pressure that pushes the cold air, rides it to the north, and then dumps it right down the middle of the country. So it drops this Arctic blast right over the panhandle, right? And folks, that's how it's done. And if you look at any of the, these image loops of these radar shots, you can see that's what happened. I mean, you don't have to be a meteorologist to watch these, these 24-hour loops over the past 2 weeks to see how this thing progressed. And now this weather's hitting the rest of the country. Folks, the problem is people, by and large, think that we're invincible, that because we got zeros on this screen after our name, because we got these zeros on this piece of paper that comes in the mail, because we got these zeros on this piece of paper that's on the nightstand that we haven't cashed yet, that somehow we think that we're the greatest nation in the world and that we're invincible and, nothing can hurt us. Folks, nothing could be further from the truth. And every one of us right now, myself included, are all extremely vulnerable to these agendas. I live in earthquake country. They could trigger a massive earthquake in Southern California. And no, California's not going to fall into the ocean, folks. They don't need to knock. Did you know what their plan is for California? Do you know Southern California, from, the Los Angeles basin all the way to San Diego? Do you know it's some of the most beautiful real estate in the entire world in terms of the weather, the climate, the topography? And, they've got plans, ladies and gentlemen, they've got plans to somehow, in a long-term plan, get rid of all of us undesirable inhabitants of this place, right? Because they look at us like human weeds, right? They want to take this place and turn it into a playground for the elite eventually. They want to get rid of all the people and bulldoze all this, and so they can make this gigantic Epstein Island out of it or something. I don't know. But all I know is they got plans for Southern California too. They got plans in the Midwest, in Missouri. They got plans in all these places. They want you off the land into the compact cities. They want you dependent on their municipal water, depending upon their electrical grid. They don't want you to have the ability to smoke your meat and hunt and fish and heat your home. They want you dependent on a system they can flip a switch on and turn you into an ice cube caged animal in a blink of an eye. We just let the accoutrements lure them a little too far down into this trap called a tract home. And I'm telling you, all of you out there that are listening to me, like I said, forget these worthless criminal churches. Forget all these crooked rip-off operations, because they are not there to help you right now. They're closed. As soon as it warms up, you can drive your car back in there. But their websites are still taking donations, right? Folks, we Americans have to be prepared to withstand a massively, carefully crafted psychological warfare attack coupled with asymmetrical warfare against the American people by the cabal, by the deep state located deep in the heart of the Mediterranean, folks. Because they got back doors into all the electrical grids, they got back doors in all the computers, they got back doors in all of your phones, in your television sets, in your Ring cameras, in your night owl cameras. Folks, if you don't, look, I leave the stuff on, right? I don't care. I'll be honest with you, some of those clowns, boy, they wish they had what I had, and they get their jollies, right? It ain't gonna happen, folks. We're not going peacefully, and we're not gonna go quietly, and we're not gonna take this sitting down. Wake up to what they're doing in the skies. Wake up what they're doing right in front of your very eyes, folks. Wake up to the lies. Come on. You really believe that they didn't have enough electricity to meet the demand for what happened there? How many times have they had these massive prolonged heat waves? Remember the drought in Texas? They didn't have water, prolonged heat, elevated temperature. Remember all that? Come on. The majority of these homes that are electrically heated are running on heat pumps, which are extremely efficient. You know, you take the you take the examples of these cities like Houston and these big metropolitan areas. They still had their power and heating, right? They just blasted all the little guys out in the rural areas. They just shut them off. They flip switches, folks, and don't believe these liars. And they can do it anywhere, at any time, for any reason, and blame the weather, and blame stupidity, and blame ineptness, and blame lack of communication, blame poor infrastructure, and then they'll send you a $10,000 electric bill to boot after your pipes are busted and your house full of water. Folks, I just want all you to realize that, you know, what's going on right now is not something to take lightly. The handwriting is on the wall, folks. The psychological warfare programs have been underway. When you look at what we're being told at face value and listen to these people, and you realize this is all just theater and their agendas moving forward. You all need to be prepared to live in a dark ages scenario. And every one of you can do your part to make sure that you and your family can survive such a scenario. Because if the American people are prepared in advance for such a thing as rolling blackouts all over the country, we can survive this. And we can rise above the ashes that they're trying to get their phoenix bird to rise out of, so they can make a world of their own without us, folks. It's not going to happen. We're on to them. We know what they're doing. We know what their plans are. We know that they will use cyber attacks, that they will run. Their asymmetrical warfare campaigns always involve blaming a boogeyman and blaming somebody else as they carry out their dirty deeds done dirt cheap, right? We know what they're up to, folks. You need to be prepared for power outages for extended periods of time. You need to be prepared for going without trips to the grocery store for extended periods of time. You have to have alternative sources of heating, lighting, ability to cook and heat food and heat your home. You have to have alternative sources of water. The source of water is when the tap goes off, bottled water. You know how much water you have in your heater? About 50 gallons. You know how much water you can store in all those soda bottles and milk cartons all the time? You know what? Get a couple extra trash cans and fill them up with water and put them somewhere and put a lid on them. And get yourself a gravity filter so you can filter water that's been sitting for an extended period of time and not get sick from it. Or you can boil it. Stock up on propane canisters, a propane stove. Stock up on things that you can afford to buy, folks. Everything is pretty cheap right now. All over the country, the shelves are still stocked to the hilt with 10 times more stuff than you'll ever need. And everyone's getting stimulus money. I know economic times are tough. They are setting up a Hunger Games scenario, ladies and gentlemen. And we've got to be able to go long on this one, folks. We got to go long on their odds. They do not have the ability to go long like we do. They're running out of time. They've shown their hand, and they are very nervous that they've overplayed their hand, folks. You know, they're going to run out of scams pretty soon. But you want to know something? I'm going to tell you what their scams are right now. Okay? You ready to listen to me? The first scam they've been running is this case-demic, right? Because they want to inject you all. The second scam they're running is this outer space crap, because they're going to fake some alien microbe or alien disease or alien attack, but it's really going to be electromagnetic weapons that they got already set up while you're in your home watching Netflix pandemic reruns. They were putting stuff all over the towers everywhere, right? And retrofitting all these buildings. And the other scam they got going is these air purification systems, these things like bipolar ionization air purification that creates these reactive oxygen species that damages your lungs, right? Causes all kinds of problems to your sinus tissue and your lung tissue, right? And then the other scam is, the sunglasses that make your vitamin D levels drop, so you end up having these endocrine cancers. The other scam is these LED screens, these televisions, and these lights, and these street lights, and these projector beam headlights that destroy the photoreceptors in your eyes by creating reactive oxygen species out of the retinol, the photoreceptors in the backs of your eyes, make you go blind, right? And the other scam they got going on is they're gonna pull off some more of these resonant frequency weapons attack like they did on 9/11, how they dustified those steel girders from the trade centers, and they turned those steel girders into pixie dust in front of your very eyes, and they wanted you to believe, and had Underwriters Laboratory and everybody else that it was, it was jet fuel, and they'll mix up this controlled demolition stuff in there when you don't have, steel girders turning into powder right in front of your face. I mean, there's footage of the trade towers turning to pixie dust, folks. They've got scalar weapons. They've got scalar weapons that, you know what the Tunguska I want to call it an experiment. The Tunguska event, look it up, Tunguska, happened in June 30th, 1908 in Siberia, where allegedly something happened in Siberia. There was an explosion that leveled trees for 600 miles around it. And it was 20 years before anyone was there to go look at it. When it they purposely just, made sure that nobody knew what was going on with it. It's not even in the Encyclopedia Britannica, for crying out loud. And it's the largest alleged impact, alleged from space. They claim it was a meteor, which is a bunch of nonsense. Folks, for 600 miles, the trees were leveled. And the sky was lit for months at night where people could read their newspapers at night all over Europe and Asia. Folks, I'm not making this stuff up. This is about the time that Tesla was playing around with his wireless electricity systems, and these massive towers, and these coils, and this high voltage transmission through the ether, right? Folks, they got weapons. They can point and aim and level things. They can blame, a comet or an asteroid impact. Folks, they can take out a city. They can't get us all, okay? And if you believe what's on the TV, they will try to get you all, okay? They got these scams going, folks, left and right. They got you, watching all these liars on television, lying to you about everything. I mean, Hollywood and politics has blended into vaudeville for a bunch of creeps, okay? It's laughable and disgusting at the same time. And the media is just over the top, completely disgusting liars. All right, folks? And now they're in the process of satanizing your children and getting them to get into all kinds of bizarre behaviors and things to destroy their hopes for the future and a family. Folks, you know what? Shut the crap off and say no. And when you go to the store, make sure you pick up a couple extra cartridge boxes. Make sure you pick up a couple extra rifles. Make sure you pick up a couple extra handguns. Make sure you pick up some firewood, some fire starter. Make sure you get some bricks and build a fireplace. Make sure you stock up on beans and buckets and oxygen absorbers and baking soda and oil and salt and dried meat and canned foods and canned fruits and canned vegetables and things like cayenne pepper. So if you start bleeding, you can pack the wound with cayenne pepper and stop the hemorrhaging. Buy some honey and pack that in there so you don't bleed to death if you get injured in some sort of situation. Folks, stock up on things like peroxide and bleach and batteries and flashlights and flashlight bulbs and car parts and extra gasoline tanks and propane, barbecue grills, whatever. Just don't be stuck in your house watching a television set, freezing to death with nothing to eat. You cannot end up like an animal trapped in a cage at the mercy of a psychotic master, because that is the plan, folks. And that is why I do what I do and say what I say and tell people what I tell people. Because you want to know something? The more people that know what's coming and the more people that are prepared for what's coming improve all of our odds in the long run. You understand me, folks? It's not just about you and yours. I know lots of people, all they care about is their own family, their own children. And you know what? They're greedy, pathetic, messed up people whose lives are a train wreck. Because you know why? They have no regard for their fellow man, only for themselves. And they willingly participate in all of these agendas and sit back and just wait for their payday that's never going to come. You want to know why, folks? Because when they blow out the economy, they take out the prison guards and all of the government agents with it, folks. Everybody's going to end up getting reduced to a Venezuelan state of existence if we don't wake the heck up. Start planting food, figure out, stop throwing things away that can hold dirt and can grow plants. If you're in an apartment, start planting things in pots. Grow herbs, grow garlic, grow onions. Stop throwing your green onion bulbs away. Stick them in dirt and keep using them. Plant some trees, for crying out loud. You can grow trees in anything. I got a toilet in my backyard that grows tomato plants in it in 2 different places. Use your imagination. Ladies and gentlemen, come on. All right, folks. I've gone long on this one, so you'll have some opportunities to share this video. This ain't for the faint of heart, folks, but you know what? It's the truth. This is Joe Imbriano, your host, the Fullerton Informer, coming to you live from the streets of Orange County, California. It's been a busy week and a bad week for a lot of people, but may we learn from history and may we be destined never to repeat it. You folks take care in Jesus' name. Get the likes up, share this video.